What if I told you that all you needed was one song and one small local audience? And if they came together as one and got happily married, or you might just have lots of little children, song children that is, that travel all over the world and make you a happy granddad, grandma, whatever it may be. Because that's what happened to me. I wrote one song to a local tribe, and the tribe loved the song. It took off. Other people heard it. And soon other people were calling me for songs, but it started with one song. And I think of these things of keys. One song is a key, and one local audience is a key. When they work together, these two keys open little doors that lead to the bigger doors. Most entrepreneurs, and I include songwriters in that group, aim too high too soon. You can waste so many years trying to go big before you earn your stripes by working the small. Starbucks started as a small coffee shop in Pike's Marketplace in Seattle. They served the local. Word got around, you know the rest. Jeff Bezos started off in his garage, a small online bookstore that he called Cadabra, as in abracadabra. People heard him say this word cadabra, and they thought he was saying cadaver. A wise man, he changed it to Amazon. Bezos was not so much local, but he understood the small, singular audience of book lovers. I actually bought books from him way back then too. And this tiny market became the Amazon we love or love to hate. But every successful songwriter has a small beginning somewhere, a small beginning story, and that first song story. There's another key, though, that works with the first two. And it takes time to discover this key, and in this course I can show you how and where to find it. But I was given a head start in the musical world, and I started to learn about this key and about studios and recording techniques and how important the audience is at a very young age. I was raised by a composer. Yeah, that's me on the left having a lesson, or knowing me, I was probably giving one. My mother was a singer, an actress, and a dancer. And that's my grandfather over there playing piano. His name is actually Jack Daniels. And that's a story for another day. It wasn't long before I was in the family business. I was singing on lots of kids' commercials that my father had written. This one here I'm singing with my sister, and it's for Avon. And here's me learning how to program drums. Yeah, I started early. In my teens, I started writing songs, really bad songs. I was always writing songs as if I was going to be a pop star. Like I said before, I was aiming too high. And every song was about me falling in love with a girl down the street. There was always a new girl, and there's always a new song. The songs were terrible, but I kept on writing. As a teenager, I started working as a studio and touring musician, and over the next 10 years, I'd play over 1,000 gigs or more, playing guitar for local Aussie artists like John Farnham, Daryl Braithwaite, Little Paddy, and American legacy artists like the Drifters, the Platters, the Ink Spots, and Tiny Tim. During that season, I wrote lots and lots of really bad songs. I was still aiming too high. I'd send out demos to the biggest publishers and record companies around the world, and goodness gracious me, I was just always disappointed. I was a bad songwriter with good intentions and hopes and dreams like everybody else. But through those 1,000 gigs, I did discover the third key. Sounds like an Indiana Jones movie. But what I did learn, I had learned to read and love an audience. Okay, you don't have to do 1,000 gigs. I can simply give you the tools to expedite this. Okay, so I had the third key at that time, but I didn't have any concept of the first two keys, or even that I needed them, until I met a guy called Nigel Compton, a wonderful songwriter and coach, who saw something in me, and after a season of being coached by him and then taking on his process, I had my first breakthrough. I aimed small and local. Nigel had encouraged me to write a song or two for our local church. This doesn't sound very glamorous, does it? But neither did the small coffee shop in Seattle or the online bookstore in that little garage in Portland. The first song I wrote did okay. The second a little better. I was learning to read that particular audience. And the third one took off. People started singing it. Other churches started singing it. Other churches in England started singing it. Oh, I was so encouraged, so I kept on writing for the local small tribe that I was in. Success from this one local audience encouraged me to venture out and write songs for the audiences I knew in the pubs and the clubs that I also performed in. So I wrote the songs and then recorded this album.
Good people stay.
Then this album started getting steady airplay around the world. At this point, I was writing songs for 2 different audiences and gaining interest around the world from both. Then the one song thing really happened in a big way. One of the songs I'd written for my local little church was picked up by a recording artist by the name of Ron Connolly, and his record became a huge hit. And subsequently, publishers were calling me from all around the world, and I ended up signing a publishing deal for my songs and a record deal for my album, and I moved, me, my wife and kids, from Sydney to Los Angeles. And from there, the keys I had in my hand helped me to open one door, then another door, and another door, and another door. On the strength of my songs alone, I started performing in stadiums across America and in London at Wembley Stadium. I'll leave a link for the video for the Wembley concert. Yes, the video is a bit cheesy, but I can take all that cheesy stuff just for the sheer joy and honor and pleasure of performing my song to thousands and thousands of people and having them sing the song back. It was pretty good. That one small key that I found, learning how to write for one small little audience, helped me, inspired me perhaps, showed me how to write to many other audiences. It's like I have lots of keys now on my belt. When I arrived in Los Angeles, I had a real deep desire to write for film and television. I just applied the same technique, writing songs to a target audience. One by one, my songs were picked up by major network TV shows and films. I knew that was a much bigger door. I just kept going through the little doors, and eventually I found the key to those doors too. It's the same technique. I just writing songs for different targeted audiences. I've had so much success. I've had hundreds of songs and pieces of music out there that I wrote for network television and feature films. Throughout this very productive 20-year season, I started to break down the process of writing songs to target audiences. I became an in-demand coach and song doctor for publishers, labels, and music colleges. I developed training for Apple, M Audio, Line 6, Propellerhead, Ableton, PSP Audio, LinkedIn Learning, and others. And because of all that interest, I decided, well, I better put this course up online for people like you. I can help you write that one song for that one local audience, and from there on, well, you'll find your own way. I'm sure of it.